The wrong delivery. This happened in the spring of 2018. I was living alone in a small rental house just outside Richmond, Virginia. I'd only been there 6 months, but it was quiet, close to work, and after years of roommates, it felt good to finally have space. It started on a Thursday evening. I got home from work around 6 and found a small brown package sitting on my doorstep. No company logo, just my address and a shipping label. But the name? Not mine. Daniel R. Pierce. Never heard of him. I figured it was a mix-up. I've had random Amazon stuff show up before. But something about this one felt wrong. No return address. And the tape? Already peeled and repressed. Like someone had opened it, then resealed it without using new tape. I brought it inside, set it on the table, and just stared at it. It wasn't my name, but I was curious. Eventually, I opened it. Inside were just 3 things: a black USB flash drive, a folded-up sticky note, and an old-school flip phone, powered off. The sticky note said, "Test number 2. Check footage. Charge overnight." Now I was seriously weirded out. I didn't plug in the flash drive. I've heard enough stories about malware and remote access. But the next day, I took the phone to a tech repair guy near my job. He told me the phone had no SIM card, but it had been connected to Wi-Fi. And worse, it had a remote access app running in the background. Basically, someone could stream video or audio from the phone's camera without alerting the user. I told him I wasn't the one who bought it. He looked at me and just said, "Yeah, I'd keep your blinds closed." I took the whole thing to the police. The box, the phone, the USB. They filed a report and held on to it. I didn't expect much, but it felt like the right thing to do. A week later, something else happened. I came home from work, and there it was. Another package. Same box, same tape, same fake name. Daniel R. Pierce. This time, I didn't even bring it inside. I drove it straight to the police station. A few days later, a detective called me. He asked if I'd had any maintenance workers around the house lately. I said no. But then I remembered. 2 weeks ago, a guy came by, said he was from the city, needed to check the water meter, reflective vest, clipboard, said he just needed to get under the house. The detective went silent, then said, "You may want to stay somewhere else for a few days. We'll explain soon." Turns out, the first package, it was bait. The name, Daniel R. Pierce, wasn't real. It was a tracking tag, a way to identify deliveries and who picked them up. That flip phone, it had a GPS beacon. As soon as I opened the box, they knew I had it. And that second package, it had a camera hidden inside, disguised as bubble wrap. If I'd brought it inside, it could have streamed my living room in real time. The police swept the entire property. They found 2 micro cameras, one under the deck, one inside an attic vent. No fingerprints, no suspects. But the detective said it matched a case from Pennsylvania. Same tactics, same kind of setup. A delivery driver, caught using fake packages to get access to people's homes. They think it was a copycat, Or maybe the guy got released. I moved out a month later. New city, new job, new number. But every so often, I still get a package, addressed to Daniel R. Pierce. Different address, different state, but always the same box. Second story. They knew my routine. I always considered myself pretty careful. I lock every door. I check the windows twice before bed. I keep lights on timers when I'm gone. I don't use location sharing. I don't post where I am on social media. Paranoid, maybe. But safe. At least, I thought I was. It started with little things. Stuff I wouldn't have even noticed if I hadn't been paying attention. A cabinet left open in the kitchen. A water bottle knocked over on my nightstand. Minor stuff. Forgettable stuff. I figured I was just being careless. But then I started finding things I know I didn't leave behind. A jacket on my couch that wasn't mine. A grocery store receipt from a place I've never been. A chipped coffee mug on the counter. I don't own chipped mugs. I started to wonder if maybe someone else had a key. My landlord, maybe? Just to be safe, I changed the locks. I even installed a motion-sensing camera above the front door, angled to catch anyone coming in. That's when things escalated. The next night, the camera picked up movement. 2:12 a.m. I checked the footage. There was nothing. No person, no car. Just a faint shimmer across the lens, like heat rising off pavement. Then static, and then the camera shut off. It came back online at 2:53. My front door was closed again. I didn't hear a thing. I was sleeping, right upstairs. The next morning, I found something new. A glove. Old leather, worn, with the name Martin stitched inside. I don't know a Martin. I went to the police, told them I thought someone was entering my home while I was asleep. They asked if anything was missing. No. Broken. No. They told me, calm but cold, get a better camera. Keep an eye on things. I did better. I set up 3 indoor cameras, hidden. I installed a deadbolt inside my bedroom door, and I got a motion alarm for the hallway. That night, I went to bed early, and I didn't sleep. At 2:06 a.m., the hallway alarm went off. Not the loud version, the one that sends a silent notification to my phone. I opened the app, checked the camera feed. Nothing. Just an empty hallway. Then the feed glitched, a blur, and suddenly, my bedroom door, the one with the inside deadbolt. The knob was gently turning. I didn't even breathe, just sat up in bed, frozen. The knob turned again. Slowly. Then stopped. I whispered, "I've called the cops." Even though I hadn't, whoever it was must have heard, because they let go of the knob. I heard retreating steps. And then, nothing. I waited an hour before opening the door. The house was empty. Front door still locked, every window shut. But on the kitchen table, they'd left something. A printed schedule. My schedule. Every day of the week. Exact times I leave for work, which nights I go to the gym, even which side of the bed I sleep on. No name, no message, just one line, written in red ink. You make it easy. I called the police again. This time I showed them the footage, the schedule, the glove. They took it more seriously, assigned someone to check in during the week, but they couldn't find prints. No forced entry. Nothing they could act on. So I left. Packed a bag. No notice. No posts. I stayed with a friend out of state, changed my number, took a leave from work. The whole time I kept thinking, How long had they been watching me? I stayed gone for 3 weeks. Then I came back, quietly. New phone, new locks. I even moved to a different unit in the same building. New floor, other side of the complex. The first night back, everything felt fine. The second night I noticed the porch light blink. Twice. Just a flicker. Probably a power surge, I told myself. But the third night, I found a note. Under my pillow. No open windows, no signs of a break-in. Just a blank sheet of paper. One sentence. Routine reestablished. It's been a month. Nothing else has happened. But now, I sleep with a chair wedged under the door. I change my routine every week. I never go to the same store twice. Because no matter how careful I am, I have this awful feeling they're still out there. Waiting, watching, learning. And one night soon, they'll decide they know me well enough to come back inside. Third story. Someone was living in my attic. It started with little things. A half-empty water bottle on the kitchen counter. A light left on in the bathroom. A spoon in the sink I didn't use. I live alone, always have, and I'm not absent-minded. I lock my doors. I double-check the stove. So when these small things started happening, I noticed. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Work had been rough, deadlines, late nights. Maybe I was slipping without realizing it. But then, it got worse. One night, I woke up at exactly 2:47 a.m. I remember the time because my phone buzzed, a calendar reminder for a meeting the next day. As I reached over to silence it, I heard something. A soft creak from above me. I live in a single-story house. Above me is only the attic. I froze. There it was again. A slow, dragging sound, like someone crawling across insulation. Then, I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I opened the hallway closet and pulled down the attic ladder. The hatch creaked open, and a wave of musty air hit me. I climbed up using my phone flashlight. Nothing. Just boxes, dust, and silence. But as I turned to climb back down, I saw it. An old folding chair, and a blanket, tucked behind the HVAC unit. I didn't put that there. I called the police. They searched the attic, took photos, and told me someone might have been squatting temporarily. They advised me to install cameras, change the locks, just in case. So I did. For about a week, nothing happened. Then one morning, I checked the footage from the hallway cam. 3:12 a.m. Something triggered the motion detector. I watched the grainy black and white video as a shape emerged from the ceiling panel. A man, thin, disheveled, barefoot. He dropped down, landed silently, and disappeared into the kitchen. 4 minutes later, he climbed back up, closed the attic door, like nothing ever happened. I nearly threw up. I gave the footage to the police. They swept the house while I stayed with a friend. They never caught him. They said, "You probably scared him off. He's moved on." But I wasn't convinced. The next night, I went back to grab a few more things. Clothes, my passport, important documents. I was only there for 10 minutes. I opened the fridge, just to check expiration dates. And there, between the ketchup and the milk, was a note, folded, Plain, written in thick black marker. One word. Stay. I haven't been back since. I broke the lease, moved across the state, got a dog. But to this day, every time I hear a creak above me, I look at the ceiling and wonder, was that just the house settling? Or is someone still up there, waiting, listening, for me to come back and find them again?